Welcome back to the Applying Logic podcast. I am your host, Rich, and I am so happy to be back with you guys on this rainy, dreary, dark Saturday that we got going on here. So shout out to all of y'all that are locked in and listening to me, that have been continuing to rock with me week after week. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the feedback I'm getting. I love it. It's really helping me with craft and creating this to what I want it to be. So big up yourselves. Really quickly, before we get anything started, if you are enjoying the podcast, if you like what you're seeing and you have been sending feedback, or even if you haven't been sending feedback, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube so you can get all of the videos. You can get updates and notifications whenever I have new episodes. Also, we are available on all podcast platforms. If you're listening to the audio, follow the platform, subscribe. Quickest, easiest, best way to support the channel and allow me to keep on doing what I'm doing. Additionally, the Guys Unpacked podcast is back. If you caught us this week, me and Dre are back. We have a new episode. Episode 35 is streaming right now on all your platforms. So go ahead and check that out. Follow Guys Unpacked on all social media platforms at Guys Unpacked. And tune into the YouTube page to catch the latest episode of the podcast. We're going to get that to you at a more regular and consistent basis now that Dre is back. The whole team is available. C-Spot Media, Soundbank Studios. So check that out. Guys Unpacked. That's going to be another thing. This ain't going nowhere. I'm still going to continue to do Applying Logic podcast like I told y'all, but Guys Unpacked is back. All right? So this weekend, we got Carnival Addiction going down. I don't know for a fact that this episode is going to be out before Carnival Addiction. So if it's not, we're going to talk about the recap of Carnival Addiction on the next go around. Because I'm recording on Saturday morning and that party is Saturday night. So we're going to see if I get this out in time or not. Got a lot of stuff to get into. But besides that, what's coming up in the DMV is still nonstop heat. So next week, Saturday, shout out to the Holly Juve Committee. Born to Party is going down inside of Citizen and Culture. It's got a crazy DJ lineup. Chucky Ray-Ban, DJ Patty, along with Gio, Maji, Fire Oats. Is going to be absolute chaos in there. So, you know, if you was at Born to Party last year, you already know the vibe. You already know how Holly Juve does. If you've been to Holly Juve for Baltimore Carnival, then you know how the team and the committee do. So next week, Saturday, March 30th, meet me inside of Citizen and Culture for Holly Juve's Born to Party. Then, after that, basically 2 weeks from yesterday, April 5th, for all my Jamaica Carnival people, everybody in Jamaica, go in Jamaica, still haven't figured out your Friday morning plans yet, still trying to decide what you're getting into, Hooky Jamaica is going down. If you do not have your tickets yet, it's time to log on. Go to hookylife.com, get your tickets. If you need more information, go to hookylife.com, get the information. It is going down at the Summit. Doors open at 9 a.m. The breakfast, fete, and pool party. Food is going to be on sale. The pool's going to be open. We're going to have all of the vibes, nonstop energy, nonstop craziness. You know how the Hooky Life crew do whenever they get near any kind of pool, any body of water, any surface where people could jump in and get wet. You know how Hooky does. So not next Saturday, but the Friday after that, April 5th, in Jamaica, Jamaica Carnival, Hooky Jamaica. The lineup is nuts. We got DJ Blaze alongside Lurbs and Lord Hype representing St. Martin and Trinidad. Then the Jamaica crew is there. You got Brush One and Bloodline Franco, along with DJ Delano from Renaissance Sound. And the DMV is going to be thoroughly represented. DJ Akil and Mystic Vibe 6.0 are in the building. So the place to be is the Summit. You can get the address, all the information, and you can get your tickets at hookylife.com. So log on right now. Get your tickets. All my Jamaica crew, my Jamaica Carnival crew. Yo, do not miss Hooky Jamaica Friday morning, 9 a.m. sharp. You know, vibes starting as soon as the door opens. So that is going down in 2 weeks. Back here in the DMV for my birthday weekend. I'm getting all the promo out the way now. My birthday weekend, the last weekend in April, the 27th and 28th. We got two events going down. I will be at both of these. Sekou Flex Dollar Fete on Saturday night. The Dollar Fete Spring Fling Edition. No advance tickets. Don't have to worry about buying tickets in advance. Real simple. Come out early. Enjoy the vibes from early. Party from early. $1 to get in until 11. From 11 to 12, $10. And then anytime after that, $20 for the rest of the night. So you come out early and save, use that money to buy 2 extra drinks, and we're going to have a good time. It's going down at the Buena Vista Ballroom, Sekou Flex, Dollar Fett, Spring Fling Edition. Get your tickets. I'm sorry, not even get your tickets. There ain't no tickets. Just organize yourself, get your crew, get everybody together. We celebrating. We starting spring off a little bit late, but that's going to be the start of my birthday weekend. And then the following day, the Holly Juve Committee and GBM Entertainment is bringing you the Bonjour Brunch. They have the Bonjour Brunch series, April 28th is the first installment. It's creme de la creme. Holly Juve, GBM Entertainment is going to be a scene going down at the Bullpen in DC. It is a brunch vibe, early vibe. They got the brunch tickets on sale and just the day party tickets on sale, all available at hollyjuve.com. So log on, get those now, and follow everybody I said. Everybody I'm talking about, Hooky Life, Sekou Flex, Holly Juve, Holly Committee. Go to Instagram, click follow on all of those pages so you can get all the updates and information on any of their upcoming events before you even got to hear about it on the podcast. All right. So the next couple of months from here through the end of April, madness. And I ain't even getting to the summer yet. I'm going to touch on the summer really quickly, but I ain't even going to fully talk about the summer yet because, the summer in the DMV is always a scene. So, all right. Birthday plans, all that stuff is out the way. I have a lot of topics to get into today. And quite frankly, I don't know that I'm getting into all of these topics just because so many things have popped up since the last episode. And there's a couple of things that I know me and Trey gonna want to get into. So we're gonna get it started really quickly with summer here in the DMV. I know a lot of y'all have seen Broccoli City drop their lineup for DC. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, this isn't even a promo for Broccoli City. It's just saying it looks crazy, and we getting in with all my hip hop fans right now. The headliners, Gunna, Megan, Party Next Door, and then just the rest of the lineup is crazy. So I know for the festival people, if that's your bag, Broccoli City is always a vibe, and they just dropped their lineup. So the summer in the DMV is heating up in a crazy way. And while I'm on the topic of some of these things that are currently heating up, I'm bringing it back to the Caribbean really quickly. Because, I'm always going to advocate because I'm obviously, when it comes to Hooky Weekend, you know what that is. Hooky Weekend is a vibe. That's going down Juneteenth weekend, June 13th through 17th. But besides that, I'm looking at where I'm going to go, the things that I want to attend, the different, whether it's carnival events or just carnivals in general, especially because I missed Trinidad Carnival this year. So I have done Mele for the last couple of years, and it was their first 2 years, and I did both years, and I enjoyed it. Admittedly, the second year was smaller than the first year. Lower turnout. I saw that, and a lot of people saw it. It did not sell out nearly as quickly. They had rooms for sale well into the event. Not into the event, but like very close leading up to the event. You could still reserve a room. And when we got to Mexico, it was a smaller turnout. So I was looking at Miami Soca Weekend, which just happened, and that flew completely under my radar. And it looked like it looked like fun from the videos I saw from people who posted videos, but I completely forgot that was even happening. It absolutely flew under my radar. That was one of those things I think was birthed by the pandemic, and they've just continued it since then. And I don't know. It wasn't something when I saw it and felt like, oh shoot, I can't believe I missed this. Like, I was more of a, oh, that's this weekend? Wow, okay. I can't believe I missed this. But, but I bring this up to talk about Mele because what is going on? I would like to know, because last year, when we were there was talk about, next year, this, that, and there was all the talk of next year. And then immediately following the event, they actually started taking like pre-registration. They were telling people, hey, lock in for next year, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't at the time, mainly because I knew that even though I planned on going, I would probably be altering like my trip. Like it might not be just me. So I didn't bother to lock in. I was like, nah, I'll have time. So then just recently, I realized, okay, it's March already, and I haven't seen anything regarding a staging of Mele for this year. Last year, it was in September. So that has me kind of like, wait, is it happening this year? And there's been like from their page, radio silence. Nothing on nothing on Instagram, website, Facebook, nothing. Just their last post was in October of last year, and that's because I went and checked. And other people have started to talk about it because people who were there realized, hey, they were already taking money out by this point, and it's about 6 months out now. So if they last year gave a 6-month payment window, and that ended prior to like the last payment was due like end of July, end of August, something like that. So I don't know if Mele is happening this year, which is a shame if it's not, because I had a good time. It was fun. I don't know what the status is. And this is me just absolutely zero information. So I'm not even coming here to say, hey, I heard this or I heard that or whatever. I'm just like, hey, what is going on? Is Mele happening? Is it going to be at a later date? If it's September, I feel like it is definitely going to take a hit, because for the folks who want to attend but don't want to just drop the entire bag on it up front, you're not giving them a big enough window, a payment window. So I don't know if they're going to, I don't believe it's going to be in September. I don't believe it's going to be the same time as last year. I don't know if they're going to move it. But if anybody knows or has any information, feel free to hit me up and let me know, because it was one of the things that I looked forward to, had it on the schedule for this year, and doesn't look like it's happening. And that is a shame, because I enjoyed it. I really did. Everything being in the one place at the Moon Palace was fun. I liked it. And then I even thought about doing Uber this year, doing the Uber Soca cruise. And that sold out, which, like I said, I thought about it. I wasn't sure I was ever gonna commit to it, but it was just on my radar. And that sold out quickly, which makes sense, because last year they did 3 sailings, 1 in April, 2 in November. And it didn't look like any of them sold out. None of them sold out far in advance, because, again, they were still advertising tickets until very close to the actual sailings. And if they ever did sell out, it was like at the last minute. And, some of this goes where like it probably doesn't actually sell out, but they, lock off the ticket sales, etc. So, but this year they were smart, which I urge a lot of promoters to do this. They downsized to one boat, one single sailing for the 10th sailing. And it sold out very quickly. And I encourage people in the field, in the industry, to, if you cannot, or if you are struggling or have a hard time with selling bigger, larger venues, or more, offering more, or trying to constantly expand to a growing audience, dial it down a little bit. And then spend the time and energy and money catering to that smaller audience to give them a really, really dope experience. This way, the following year, you can now go back to trying to expand. So I don't know if that was their mindset, but I know that they went from 3 sailings last year to 1 this year, and that sold out almost immediately. So I'm sure they're going to have a time, the folks on the Uber Soca cruise. But Mele, if you're still doing something, let me know. Like, post a flyer, something, drop a teaser, let us know a date, whatever it is, because like I said, I had fun. I was looking forward to it, and it doesn't look like it's happening this year. But all right. I'm off of that. I know if you tuned into the Guys Unpacked, we did a heavy unpacking of Trinidad Carnival, because I finally got to actually sit down and talk to Dre about everything. So that was a lot. We're not getting into a lot of the Caribbean scene today. So that I wanted to get out the way really quickly. So summer is heating up here in the DMV and everywhere. So we're starting with Broccoli City, going down here in the DMV. We got Chris Brown on tour. Megan is going to be at Broccoli City. She is also going on tour with GloRilla. We got Nicki Minaj on tour with Monica. So you have no shortage of big acts, big tours. They're gonna be in your city or somewhere close to your city. So if what you're looking for hasn't already sold out, then go ahead, get your tickets now. I know Megan just sold out the closest show that she's doing to here. I see Nicki just sold out State Farm Arena in Atlanta the other day. And I was looking at videos from that show and it looked amazing. So it's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a good rest of the year and it's already starting. So it's looking amazing. I know my girl is going to see Megan, I think. But either way, nothing but good music on the horizon. Not even good music. Good tours, good shows. Like I said, it looks like it's going to be a good, fun summer, right? But what was funny, the two things that were funny from that, my two funny takeaways from that was, one, GloRilla on CNN. I don't know if you've seen it, but they had GloRilla on CNN. I only saw the clip. I didn't even watch the whole interview. But they had a clip of GloRilla on CNN. She was just at the White House, met with Kamala and Joe Biden. And, you know, right now it's election season, so all of the politicians are trying to shore up whatever votes they can. Kodak Black said he's voting for whoever he's voting for. And all the candidates are going to try to secure whatever votes they can secure from all of the places they can get them. And, of course, the black vote, the young vote, has been a hot commodity because, quite frankly, the black vote has been giving a lot of weight in the elections over the last few years. And the candidates recognize and realize that now. So for those of you who feel like, oh, voting doesn't matter, no, it does. If it didn't matter, two things wouldn't be happening. A, certain entities wouldn't be trying to suppress your vote so much or make it harder for you to vote or put your vote into places where it matters less by like redistricting and changing the voting line so that your vote is counting less because it's going into certain communities. And two, they wouldn't be petitioning for it so hard. So your vote does matter. So November is important. It is important that you go out and vote. But it's also funny to see the candidates right now and the things they're doing to try to secure the black vote, the young black vote at that. And so they had GloRilla up at the White House with Kamala and Joe. And what was funny was CNN then interviewed GloRilla. And at the start of the interview, they talk about her tour and everything she has coming up, and then asked her about did they try to get your endorsement? Did they try to get you to come out and get people to vote? And GloRilla gave the non-answerist answer ever. Just, I don't really get into that. I love everybody. And then she ended with, because at the end of the day got to end. And I bust out laughing because I was like, wait, what? At the end of the day got to end? Nah, bro. But yo, CNN. Why? What was the point? Like, even if you as CNN are bringing GloRilla on to interview her about her upcoming shows, tour, etc., whatever, why would you think? And this is no shade, but what political question did you think you were going to ask GloRilla and get a thought out, insightful answer that was going to help or hurt any candidate? Like, what did you think you were going to get from that question? It's GloRilla. Like, I'm sorry. I don't take anything away from anybody's intelligence or how informed they are or anything like that. But nah, I got to know. I have to have an idea of your political stance and what you're going to say before I ask any questions and put you on TV. That's just me. Because otherwise, I look dumb for asking you. Your answer looks crazy, and we don't get any actual, like, there's no traction made from this answer and this response. So if I don't know what you're gonna say, I'm staying away from that question. I'm gonna ask you about albums, about your tour, about what you got going on. I'm gonna ask you everything but the thing that I don't know what you're gonna say. But her answer was priceless. I love it. I'm just like, y'all not gonna get her to commit to something that there's clearly not a priority to her, right? And some people were in the comments and they were talking about how sad it is and how bad we look. And I did see one comment that says why, other race and ethnicities don't take us seriously. And there's a lot to be said about that, because I do agree that I wish some of us were better informed. I wish some of these celebrities and acts and people with money and people with influence were better informed, so that when asked anything around politics, they could give an answer that would, at least, regardless of who you side with or what your thoughts are, it would be nice to get a better, more well thought out answer. But it is the reality of the world we live in, where a lot of people, especially when you get to a certain level of income, you don't really put a lot of stock and thought into the politics of it all. So it is what it is. But it was just funny to hear her answer and her response, because, bro, I don't know what CNN thought. I don't know what they thought they were going to get, but they got what they asked for, and she answered them appropriately for the questions they were asking. So while we're on the topic of folks on tour, because like I said, GloRilla is going to be on tour with Megan Thee Stallion, and I saw her in the gym working out. I saw Lotto in the gym working out. Like, everybody's posting their gym pictures and videos as they getting ready to hit these stages for summer, and I love it. Like, good, y'all go off, do your thing, get yourselves in shape. I'm doing the same. I'm trying to get it for the summer, so I have no shade, no knock on it. Go ahead, post your gym, your workout pics and videos and whatever. So on the topic of the tours, Ray J was on The Breakfast Club, and during his interview was talking about his, I say dream tour, but like, he was basically telling Charlamagne and them that he has been pushing for a Brandy and Monica tour. And that was the extent of what he said, because they asked him, like, what have you been, have you really been pushing for this tour? And he said, yeah, for the longest. Like, I've talked to them, blah, blah, blah. He would like to see them two go on tour based off of, like, the energy and the vibe from the verses that they did, which I understand it. I understand where he's coming from. Like, that was a hit. It was successful. Everybody know Brandy and Monica kind of defined a sound within the generation when they were putting out hits. So the older crowds, my age and around my age, would love a Brandy and Monica tour, because those are songs that we came up with. So, he was just on The Breakfast Club, and he voiced his thoughts on it. And then Monica responded, because, okay, so DJ Envy I didn't watch the whole interview. I watched just a clip, and DJ Envy was asking, like, well, who would headline? And they cut the clip off at that point. And I understand him asking, like, who would open up? Like, you got Ray J up there and you asking, so who would open up in a tour like that? Because as a radio personality, that's a question you want to ask, because that is something that will put Ray J on the spot, and he's either going to give a political answer, something politically correct, or he's going to give the controversial answer, whichever way he chooses to go, whether it's his sister, Brandy, or Monica, and it's going to get people talking. It's provocative. You like it. You like to hear stuff like that if you are a radio personality. because that's what you do for the, like, so it was a smart question for DJ Envy to ask. I don't know how it was responded to because, like I said, I never watched the interview. I just watched the clip. But then Monica put out a statement, and it was addressing the whole it was addressing Ray J's interview. I've been repeatedly contacted by interviews, etc., where my name was on tour possibilities are being discussed. I've not received any contracts or calls about said tour, blah, 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 blah. She asked Ray J, kindly asking that you stop speaking on me in public. A private conversation would both be necessary and respectful. Brandy's a legend. She's one with an extensive catalog that I deeply respect and a voice from the heavens. So she's, Monica's being very politically correct. The conversations being had without she and I is beginning to muddy the water severely. She and I are both consummate professionals that share a massive recording as well as an entire era. Please allow this to remain positive and beautiful. Neither should open. We should give someone else that opportunity to co-headline a massive shared stage. If this is to ever happen, any further convo should be in private. And respect. Like, that was a very well written, well worded, well thought out response from Monica to a question that she wasn't asked. Because Ray J was telling the Breakfast Club something that was something he had been pushing them to do, but at no point did Ray J say this was happening. It was in the works. It was being discussed. He was saying it's something he would like to see and that he has been asking them to do. So Monica's response was to nothing, because no one said or insinuated, implied that it was happening. And in fact, it was all just not even speculation. It was all like fan casting. Like, hey, who would you like to see in this movie? Who would you like to see on tour? Which of these dead artists would you bring back? It was like, yeah, he can speculate. He can say that. He can say what he would like to. He doesn't have to do that privately, nor does he have to contact you about that. I don't and I'm not mad at Monica for what she said. I'm just saying, like, it sounds a lot like her response was to keep the conversation going, because perhaps it's something she wants to do. Like, even the talk about, it would be something that we would co-headline. Like, okay, yeah, I'm with that. I think if it was ever to happen, it should be a co-headlining situation, and you absolutely should get some younger, newer, up-and-coming artist, someone who needs the exposure to open up for you guys. Absolutely. But again, you're addressing issues that have not, and concerns that have not actually come up yet. So I understand what she's doing, though, right? I completely get what Monica is doing in this situation. By responding to Ray J, what you get is additional conversation about the potential for a Brandy and Monica tour. You get people like me, you get fans talking about it, you get people saying, so now when you go pitch the idea, when the idea starts to actually grow legs, it's kind of like, this is the rollout, or this is the trying to gauge fan interest in something like this. And I like it. I'm all for it. I do believe y'all should come together, put y'all heads together, and try to do something. You know what I mean? So I'm all for it if that's the route this is going. A Brandy and Monica tour would go crazy. Maybe not this summer, just because, like, let's be real, summer's already here. So if it's not something that's already been put together, then this might not be the summer for it. And if it does drop this summer, then that means that this was all a rollout to begin with, because y'all have already been putting this together. So that those are my thoughts on that. Getting all the entertainment stuff out the way, all the tours, all the music conversation. No, actually, not all the music conversation. That was just the Brandy and Monica stuff. So, and this is going to be real quick. I'm going to be in and out of these next two topics. Tyla's album dropped, her debut album. I got a chance to listen to it today before starting, and I like it. I'm gonna be real quick about it. I like it. A lot of the first few songs sounded like the vibe, the energy, the bop, the beats are all kind of very similar in the first few songs. So she kind of gives you here's what you're about to get. This is the sound that you're gonna get. This is my signature sound. But again, it was fun, upbeat, very dancey music. Really, really had a good time. Very easy listen. Didn't have to skip anything. Very easy listen. Played it in the car and was like, okay, cool. I do feel like, because I know she recently canceled her tour due to injury. And I do feel like that actually works in her favor. Because this summer is going to be a very crowded tour market, it looks like, between the festivals and the tour. And you would have been dropping this new music. So I don't know, like, again, I think right now might not have been the best time to try to go on a tour. Let the music drop, let it bubble a little bit, give it some time before you gauge whether or not you're going to actually do this tour and how many cities and all this other stuff. So I think it was a good idea to get this injury that caused you to hold back your tour for a little bit. And yeah, drop it later, drop it next year. Like the songs are still going to be hot. You're still going to have the album. You're still going to have the material. And by then, you let all of these other tours kind of hit their last leg. Because, like I said, it's Nicki and GloRilla. It's Megan. No, I'm sorry. It's Nicki and Monica. It's Megan and GloRilla. It's Chris Brown with Arya Starr and Money Long. And then I know Tank is on tour. Like, there's a lot happening. And the festivals are coming. I love Tyler and I like the song. I like Water and I like the album, but it might have been the right time to say, you know what, let me chill, let everybody else do their thing, and I'ma drop like next year. Let me build up a little bit more steam. Also in new music, Future and Metro Boomin's album dropped, and while I'm not gonna talk about the album, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about Kendrick. So Kendrick dropped a track taking direct shots at Drake and J. Cole. And I don't know if it was at Drake and J. Cole or if it was one of them, but it was clear who he was talking about in the track. So if you haven't heard it, it is on Future and Metro Boomin's album, and Kendrick, and the verse is dope. The verse is hot, and I love it. Like, I am one of those people that still I like rap. Not even one of those people. I think this is most people. I love a rap beef. I love a hip hop beef. I like when the dudes that can rap, when the lyricists that can actually put bars together that are funny and witty and dope go at each other. So this, to me, is like stuff that I've been waiting for. And honestly, Kendrick has done this before. Like, he's put out a song where he took shots at like everybody, and it was just sport. And I think that's kind of what this is, because I don't know if there's any like legitimate Kendrick, Cole, Drake beef. Nobody's actually thinking there's any like beef between them three. But if it's going to be music coming out of it, like Cole got an album coming out. So I'm sure if there wasn't already a song with some jabs on it, I'm sure he's putting something together right now. And I'm sure Drake is probably doing the same. So if we're going to get some nice diss records coming through for the summertime, I'm all for that. Because I'm going to be honest with you, like, for anybody who knows me, where hip hop is now, it's not even fun for me to listen to. Like, I don't like the music that is typically referenced at the top of hip hop. I'm not going to name no names because I already said the name a million times on the Guys Unpacked podcast, but I do not like. There's some artists that I just don't rock with. I understand I'm not their demo. I'm gonna be the old man on this. They aren't for me. A lot of the music right now is not made for me. It's made for the younger kids. They don't care about lyrics. They don't care about actual rap. It's about the vibe. It's about how the song feels. It's about the music. It's about the beat, and that's cool. That's great. That's not what I'm listening for. So when I hear lyricists being lyricists, that's what I'm checking for. That's what I'm tuning into. So this Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, y'all go at it all summer long. Diss each other. Like that's what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're gonna get good music out of it, cool. Go at it. I'm here for it. I want to hear all of it. I'm gonna be tuned in. And I wasn't even checking for the Future and Metro Boomin album like that until I heard that this was on it. And yeah, all for that. So shout out to them. All right. I think that does it with entertainment and music. Yep. I'm going to pivot real quick to a couple of things that have been in the news that caught my attention and gave me a good chuckle. And these first couple are short. There's one I'm going to spend a little bit of time on, but these first couple are quick. So, Carlee Russell, for those of you who don't remember, that was the young lady who got kidnapped but didn't actually get kidnapped. If you don't remember this story, like, Google Carlee Russell, because I don't got the time right now. I'm thinking back to the story. I don't really got the time right now to get into the laying out of the background of the story, but she basically staged a kidnapping or pretended she was kidnapped and like called the police and did this whole thing. And then, a lot of us, when we heard the story, like she saw a toddler on the side of the road, something, and then got kidnapped, was like, yeah, that don't sound right. And then it turns out those of us who didn't believe her to be in the beginning were correct, that she was lying, which is why we don't believe half of what we see on social media now. So that's her story. But if you Google Carlee Russell, if you don't remember this story, it was hilarious. It was a couple of years ago. But apparently she was sentenced because she pled guilty because you lied and we knew you lied. So like there's no reason in dragging this out. So she's been placed on 12 months supervised probation after pleading guilty to the kidnapping hoax because the judge said it would be a waste of government resources to put you in jail. And I'm all for that. I was one of those people who was like, I was cool with whatever her punishment was going to be. I never thought she deserved jail time because I just didn't think it was worth the time or the effort to actually put her in jail. So 12 months supervised probation sounds about right. That's correct for the crime that she did. She lied to the police. She made a hoax. And quite frankly, it was our fault for believing that in the first place. So I am okay with this 12 months supervised probation for Carlee Russell, but it was still funny. And she has to pay $17,000 in restitution. So, all's well that ends well with that one. And let me tell you something. The girls the girls are up. The women are winning right now because to do all of that and only $17,000 you got to pay, but you ain't got to do no jail time. 12 months probation, cool. Like the ladies are winning right now. Between the tours and everything that's happening, I got that. Like is all the city girls. Everybody is up right this second. Because the next story, the next story is about Megan Hall. And actually, I got into a little bit of a debate with some friends about this one. So, if y'all don't remember, Megan Hall is the police officer from the Tennessee police officer who got fired for having relations on the job with six different officers. And it was a small department. So 6 officers, they said, was like something like half the department or something like that, right? But like she Yeah, she was accused of, not even accused of, she hooked up with multiple officers and colleagues, performed oral sex on 2 officers on the job, had a threesome with an officer and his wife, and much more. So the officers involved the male officers involved were all fired. She was also fired, obviously, but a lot of it came from the fact that it was all happening at work. And there was just a lot going on with this story. And I hadn't heard anything about it since the time of the story, except for I heard that she was suing the department. And again, I didn't give much thought to that either, because it's America, and anyone who feels like that they were wronged in any way will sue, because they will find you. Attorneys will find you and tell you that you have a case, and they'll read out to you, hey, here's the things that here's the reasons we think you have a case. And yeah, if you think you can go for it, especially when you're suing anyone who has a public image to uphold, you get a really good chance of getting a settlement to make this go away. So attorneys know that. Victims know that. So the fact that there was a lawsuit was not surprising. But the Laverne board and the mayor alderman voted to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement between the city of Laverne and the former police officer. She got a $500,000 settlement, which included her court fees and lawyer fees and all that other stuff. So at the end of the day, she won. And this sparked a little bit of debate between me and some friends, because as I read the comments, I realized that a lot of people did not like the fact that she was awarded this money. And I understand that. I completely understand the folks who were not happy about this ruling. Ho acts like ho, gets caught in the middle of being a ho. Ho is exposed for being a ho. Ho claims to be the victim, gets $500,000. and so on and so forth. The comments go like, these hoes are stepping their game up, blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of somewhat, I'm not going to say disparaging, but most of the comments I'm seeing are people that are saying that she was, doing what she do and got paid for it at the end. Lost her job, but got paid for it. And they're a little mad that the city decided to pay out. So I had a different feeling about this. I'm not mad that she got paid. And what it comes down to is, so her lawyer claims Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie or a cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at like a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited. And that's what her lawyer claimed. So at the end of the day, what it came down to was she was in a position where she was the rookie on the department, and all of the people involved had seniority over her, whether they were her actual supervisors or just officers with more tenure, more time on, right? And the city and the department knew that the optics of these 6 male officers, one of whom at least one of whom was married, having relations on the job, off the job, whatever, with this new young, like she was like 23, 24, 25, whatever age, this new young officer on the job, would not play out positively in the court of public opinion. And that is a reality they had to deal with. Because if you are the person in a position of power, let's say, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but let's say she preyed on these men, like she came onto them. Everything that happened was initiated by her completely. She was the one who started all of it. She suggested everything. 100% of it was her, and they were just like, oh, okay, cool. The fact that they had the time on, that they were the ones in the positions of authority or at least of seniority over her, and it's all of them, and she was the sole person, the minute she claims victim, And I'm only saying claim because I'm only in this scenario pretending that she was the one who initiated everything, right? Even if she claims victim in that scenario, y'all are all wrong. Y'all all look wrong because y'all all should have known better. You should not have been having sex with this girl at the job. You and your wife should not have been having sex with this girl. Like, all of y'all that knew that other officers were doing this should not have also been doing this. Because when it all comes out, regardless of how it comes out, whether she says one of the officers blows the whistle or somebody, a completely unrelated third party, says what happened, once this becomes public, no matter how you slice it, from a public perception point of view, you all are wrong. And the city and the mayor all knew that. And the fact that they did not want this to continue to be a headline or to resurface as a headline, they was like, nah, let's just cut her a check, call it a day. Like, we fired everybody involved. And that's that. Because I didn't read the entire complaint, but I heard excerpts from it. And yeah, even if all of what she said was not true, like the fact that you're using terms like sexually exploited and grooming and things of that nature, if half of that is true, then yeah, you are going to get paid. So that's why I'm not even mad, because the officer should have known better. Like, the problem is that we've had a society for too long that allowed and enabled people in a male-dominated workspace to take advantage of subordinates in that way. And so now in 2023, 24, we are overcorrecting for the things that people did in the past. And I'm not saying this is an overcorrection, but what I'm saying is, knowing that now, you as a person in power, man or woman, you have to understand, if you engage in anything with a subordinate and they make a claim, you are going to get in trouble. 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times, you're at least going to be looked at as the person. You're going to be looked at as the subject off rip. It's going to be on you to prove that you didn't do anything wrong. So the fact that she got paid, I mean, no, they got what they deserved, because they should have never engaged in anything with that young lady, especially what they were saying they were doing. And y'all could call her whatever names y'all want to call her. Excuse me. And it might be true. It might have been that. She might have been out there hoeing. But like, the fact is, then she outplayed them in the game and they lost. So, because now none of them can come back and sue and get no money. So all they got out of it was some sex from a rookie. And now, and I don't know what any of the guys are doing right now, but I genuinely, I don't got no sympathy. I don't got no sympathy for them. I mean, the department, their insurance company is who's paying it anyway. So like, ain't no money out of my pocket. Ain't no money. It's really ain't no money out of any of y'all's pocket, because guess what? When people are complaining about, oh, you know, this is what our tax dollars are going for, you already paid them. Like, they're not taking more money out to pay them. You already paid. You're paying these taxes anyway. The departments have these insurance policies regardless. And that's what the insurance policies are for. So you ain't lost no money for this girl to come up. You just kind of mad that she got to have a good time at work and then get paid for it afterwards anyway. So like, and I'm not mad at that. So shout out to young former Officer Hall from Tennessee. I'm telling y'all, the girls are winning. The girlies are winning right now. So they all coming up. The comments are hilarious. People are mad, yo. People are mad. One case where, as I'm switching topics, one case where I'm not even gonna say she's not winning, because I guess it depends on your point of view. Anybody who knows me knows I am not a fan of the black conservative young lady who's typically has one-sided views. She was seen in pictures with Kanye West, and she's been on her little media tour right now. I don't even feel like saying her name because I just don't want to say her name. I'm not a fan. I don't like anything she does. I don't really watch her show. I don't watch her interviews anymore, but she has been popping up on my algorithm a lot lately. And I understand why. So, as it would have it, she has been released from her deal with, hold on, let me get the exact name of her show. Daily Wire. It says she's out as the host of Daily Wire after months of railing against Jewish people. That's the story. The owner of the network is Ben Shapiro, and apparently there was she's been clashing with the founder, Ben Shapiro, over her endorsement of some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Now, for those of you who know her and have watched or seen any of her content, you know that she is consistent. I give her that. She is very, very consistent. Literally, any story that comes out, she will spin it in a way that is reflective of whatever the party's current position is. So, because she is a far-right conservative, typically anything that has any merit or leans towards those ideals, she is going to gravitate towards it. And in fairness to her, she is good at combining truth with the things she says. So she will take a story that is true otherwise and use it, but then give it that far right twist or that far right spin. And as we have seen time and time again, you're good and you can say what you want about whoever you want to, except for one particular group of people. And that has come back to bite her again. And rightfully so. Like you see what happened to Kanye, you see what happened to Kyrie, and Kyrie isn't even I don't even put him on that list, at all. But you know, or should know, that there are certain things in the media right now that you cannot, there's certain sides you cannot take if you are a media personality, and she did. And I'm not getting into the specifics of it because I'm too small to have my little podcast, to have my little show not be aired to the couple of people that watch me. So, I'm just going to say that it does make sense for her to be out where she's at. Why it's funny is because she obviously knew this was coming. And she's doing the thing that she has done in the past when it comes to her situation, in that she started running to prominent black media to continue to get her message out. And these prominent black media folks are eating it up because, frankly, for them, it's a ratings grab. It absolutely gets them ratings. She ran to, did a Patreon with Joe Budden, and then she was on The Breakfast Club recently. And because of that, it's been posting. And that's the only reason that this stuff has been hitting my algorithm, because I absolutely don't follow her. But I'm seeing the clips from the interview on The Breakfast Club and the things that she said with Joe Budden. And again, she very eloquently twists the truth and puts a conservative far-right spin on it. And she's a huge, huge Trump fangirl. So every time that she talks, it's about how great Trump was. So obviously, I don't listen to none of what she says because I can see through the BS. But neither here nor there. She's making sure that she stays in the public eye. And of course, like I said, these outlets are going to jump at the chance for the interview because it's going to be a ratings grab. The conservatives are going to want to see what she said on these platforms. The people who follow these platforms are going to see, what does she have to say? There are people who genuinely may not care for everything she says, but they oftentimes will say, I don't really hate her because she does speak some truth. So it was a win-win for everybody. And it is making sure that even though she knew that this Daily Wire thing was in the works, she's going to keep herself in the media eye, in the public spotlight, now in some more liberal spaces because of the outlets she's going to, some more black media spaces, and she's going to be fine. Like, the beauty part of today in television is she does not need Daily Wire to continue to have reach, to continue to be able to reach her supporters. As long as she has access to the internet, as long as she has a voice that she can reach her supporters directly, she is not going to want for an outlet. And in a day and age where you can create, produce, and put out your own content until someone backs you, and someone will back her. Like, let's be clear. She's not going to be out of work. Someone will pick up her show or back her or give her another show. So I believe she's absolutely going to be fine and probably going to come out better on the tail end of this breakup with the Daily Mail. So again, the girls are winning. Like, they're winning left and right. and again, I'm not mad at the situation, because despite the fact that I'm not a fan of hers and refuse to even like acknowledge her, and I try not to even not to bring her up in anything that I'm doing, but it just happens to be happening. And like I said, it's been all over my algorithm, so it's obvious I can't avoid it. I'm not mad. I know that her rhetoric is what it is. Like, her followers are who they are. They already believe in her. They already follow her. So I'm not doing anything that is promoting or enhancing her brand in any way because I can't. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's big enough as it is. She has her people that back her. So me talking about it now is really just me discussing something that's happening in the world, in the US. So, but shouts to everybody involved in that. But she is out at the Daily Mail. So at the Daily Wire, not Daily Mail. Is it Daily Wire? Yes, Daily Wire. So we're going to see where she lands. We're going to see how this goes. Coming into an election year is very, very interesting. Like, we talked about Jon Stewart coming back. We talked about everything happening with the run-up to the election. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these next couple of months really, really shape out. Moving on just a little bit, we had a story out of Illinois that I thought was hilarious. And again, it's still like a political topic. And if you know me, you know I love my politics. I do love politics. And I am not going to make this a political podcast at all. But I do feel like I have a responsibility as someone who actually pays attention to what's happening to impart whatever I have or information I have to the people who might not be catching it because for whatever reason, you know, you don't really pay attention to the news, whatever. It's boring, the things of that nature. And if you hear it here, then cool. Know that my views are a little one-sided, so take that with a grain of salt. But at least I'm being transparent about it. I'm telling you, I am coming at you. I am giving you a somewhat one-sided point of view. I can absolutely separate my own feelings from what is actually happening, but I'm gonna have a slant on the things that I say, right? This story was interesting to me. There was a judge, an Illinois judge, that the news was very clear to make sure that we knew she was appointed by Obama. So they called her an Obama appointee. Liberal Illinois judge Sharon Johnson Coleman rules that illegal immigrants can carry guns legally. And the reason this story caught my attention is because at first I saw it and was like, wait, what? Like, a liberal Illinois judge appointed by Obama ruled that what? And so then I went and actually read the story and made some sense of it, applied a little logic to it. And it was funny because it's going to be one of those things that neither conservatives nor liberals are going to be able to agree on, because she basically like short-circuited both of them with this ruling, and it was funny to me. So really quickly, like for those of you like who know me, I am one of those people who is very much pro-gun. I'm advocate of gun rights. I believe everybody should have the right to own firearms in this country, because that is the what's in the Second Amendment. It's what they said. This everyone can own firearms. I am also very much pro-gun regulation because I have common sense, and it's why I don't typically get into debates about guns and gun rights in this country, because I realize that the pro-gun people have one singular argument that they lean on. Actually, they have kind of two arguments that they lean on, one more than the others. It's in the Constitution, and once they say, my bad, it's in the Constitution, and once they say that, I realize, okay, you don't actually have a legit defense, so you're going back to like the catch-all. You know what I'm saying? Because if your argument is it's in this centuries old document that was written at a time before anything that was happening in this country today, but that is what we're leaning on as our be-all, end-all argument for gun ownership, then you're telling me that you have no ability to adjust and pivot to changing times. You are stuck and stagnant in an archaic way of thinking, and me trying to speak to you today in 2024 is pointless, because it'll never get through to that brick wall that you've put up. So I don't even dialogue with those people, because I realize how pointless it is. The next argument that I often hear is the government, if we allow regulation, it's a slippery slope before the government comes and takes all our guns. And the reason we have guns is to fight against tyranny. And that is an argument with a little bit more merit to it. It's still nonsense, but at least I'll give you that over this blanket, it's in the Second Amendment argument, because it's like, all right, you can point to times in history where a tyrannical government has taken over. However, I don't think you can point to anything in U.S. history or within the U.S. that indicates that is even, you can't show me the steps that are being taken to go down that route, and you can't tell me that regulations over guns are getting you to that route, because at the end of the day, any form of gun regulation is for the purposes of making sure that, yes, you can still own guns, but let's find a way to make it safe. Let us apply some common sense to people being able to own firearms. And so if you think applying common sense is a direct path to tyranny, then you're a little stupid. That's really the end of it. Like, that's the end of how I think about having conversations with those people. If common sense is the equivalent of tyranny, you are an idiot. Just that simple. So there's a reason I don't dialogue with gun nuts, because I realize none of them are actually very bright. Or they are actually very intelligent, and they know that their arguments, they know that they don't have real good arguments, so they rely on what's already been established, that, it's in the Constitution, it's all right, and, we're here to fight against tyranny. That said, like I said, I'm pro-gun. I own guns. So I am never going to be like, hey, nobody should own them, but I also am an adamant believer that there should be regulations that just make sense to limit what type of weapons people should own and how people should own them, and the rules and the things that you need to do to be a gun owner. Right now, there are several states in the United States where you don't need a permit to carry a weapon concealed or unconcealed. So if you go to certain states, you can just buy a gun and walk around with it. I'm not saying that the crime is higher or lower in those states. I'm just saying that is a thing that happens. Same time, there are some states with very, very strict gun laws and very high crime rates. That's also true. So I don't think that there is a direct correlation between one or the other. I think those are just things that happen. And in an effort to address rising crime, a lot of people try to put stricter regulations on the ability to own firearms, so that if you do have a firearm in public, it is immediately illegal. So I can stop and arrest you for that without having to wait for you to commit the crime, if that makes sense. Like, since the crime is already so high, let's find ways to stop people from doing the illegal things before they do it by making other acts illegal. Whether you agree with that approach or not, it does have its merit. So why this law made me chuckle. So Illinois, because Chicago is in Illinois, and Chicago typically has been overutilized as the example of a state with high rates of gun violence. So to have an Illinois judge decide that, so this illegal immigrant was arrested for illegal possession of a firearm, and he claimed that the reason that he had the firearm was for self-defense and protecting himself. So he did not commit, at least I didn't read it, maybe I need to go reread it, did not commit an additional crime. So it was strictly the possession of the firearm, and his logic and rationale behind it was that it was for self-defense. So this judge took the thing that far-right conservatives hate the most, illegal immigrants. Well, illegal immigrants from certain countries, because they don't care if you're an illegal immigrant from somewhere in Europe or Australia or those places, right? But took an illegal immigrant, the thing the conservatives, one of the things they hate the most, and took the thing that they love the most, guns, and said, under the thing that you reference the most, the Second Amendment, it is legal for an illegal immigrant to possess a firearm. And I know that conservatives' heads exploded across America when this announcement was made, because what? You're saying that under our beloved Second Amendment, the thing that we reference more than any other amendment, that illegal immigrants can own guns in this country? And that was priceless. That was like saying, that was just a shot to every conservative. But at the same time, it was a shot to every liberal, because it was saying, yeah, I am upholding Second Amendment rights even to people who are in the country illegally. So you do not have to have legal status in this country, but you can own a gun. There are so many things you cannot do in this country, but owning a gun, that's the one I'm going to uphold that you can do in California. So this is one of those cases I am going to be paying attention to see, because I am 100% positive that this is not going to be the end of this, that there's going to be additional legislation where this comes from, because at some point there's going to have to be a ruling as to whether or not people who are here illegally are going to be protected under the same laws and regulations that protect citizens and legal residents. And while they are under a lot of things, I do not believe for 1 second that the 2A gun nuts and the hard right conservatives intentioned or wanted for illegal immigrants to be protected under the Second Amendment. I could be wrong, and we will see. We will see how this plays out. And I know that if this ever makes it into the 6-3 majority Republican Supreme Court, that it will get overturned immediately. It wouldn't even take any time. But until that time comes, this is her ruling in Illinois, and I'm here for it. Because do I think illegal immigrants should be able to own guns? No. Like, I'm still very much a common sense gun laws person. So no, I don't think illegal immigrants should have a legal right to own guns. But I also think there's certain provisions of there's certain things that are allowed under the Second Amendment that I don't think should continue to be allowed, because I think we should adjust how we address laws for changing times. I've said that a million times. So we'll see how this plays out as the time goes on. But that was funny to me. And that is all I have on all of my political topics, all of my entertainment topics, all of that stuff. Well, not all of my entertainment topics. All of my music topics and political topics are done. If there's anything else that I missed and you guys think deserves some time and attention from me, feel free, shoot me a message, let me know, hit me in the DMs, and I'll either get to it here on the Guys Unpack podcast. I got to save some topics for me and Dre to get to this week. And really quickly before I go, I'm going to pivot to my TV shows because right now we are in the spring. Shows are either back on or on for the first time, and I have a lot to get into. I'm going to try to run through them really quickly before I sign off. First of all, Jon Stewart is back on The Daily Show, and I couldn't be happier. He was missed. I liked Trevor Noah. I enjoyed him on The Daily Show, but he was not Jon Stewart. And even though Jon is back just on Mondays, it has been a pleasure to see him because I am one of those people who I do enjoy the fact that he is not, while he is very much liberal, he has no problem calling out liberals and Democrats when they are wrong. And that is something that the conservatives and the Republicans don't do. They will not hold each other accountable when they're wrong. And that's part of the reason why this whole Trump situation is what it is. It's like they don't care. Like they found their Messiah and they're riding with him regardless of what he does. Whereas liberals and Democrats and, Jon Stewart in particular does not have a problem saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. Like no matter how you slice it, I can't pretend like this is correct. And so I'm glad to see Jon Stewart back on The Daily Show. That is going to be, he's only back on Monday nights, but Monday nights I'm tuned in. I'm locked in. Now, I'm going to nerd out for a minute because I got so much to get into. Okay, I'm going to say this really quickly. And I want this to be a blanket statement from me. These are just my thoughts. And I don't care who shares in these thoughts or not. Stop making live action and adaptations of animated classics. Again, I don't speak for everyone. I speak for me. I don't want to see another live action adaptation of an animated classic for the rest of my life because while I used to be excited for it when at the prospect of, hey, seeing this thing that I loved brought to life in live action, I'm realizing I'm always disappointed. Each and every time. I'm always like, eh. So, obviously right now I'm talking about Avatar. And shout out to Avatar. They have been renewed for book 2 and 3, and which was a foregone conclusion because it's a Netflix original. And the hype behind the first season got them a lot of viewership. A lot of people watched, and a lot of people liked it. So they were always going to get renewed for book 2 and book 3 to make sure that they could complete the full series. I was one of the people that did not like it. I'm not a fan. I watched it, I tried my best, and I tried to like it because I was excited for it at first, and I realized that I did not like the condensation of the story. First of all, I have so many nitpicks about it, and I'm going to try to keep them brief and concise. I do not like how they condensed the story and the stories that they chose to go with. So if you know me, you know Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon, was one of my favorite television shows, not just animated shows, just television shows. I thought it was a perfect story told to completion. They tied up every loose end. It was brilliant writing. Like I watch it now. Like I rewatch it from time to time. Amazing show. You can't tell me otherwise. So when M. Night Shyamalan did the movie, I didn't even go see it because M. Night Shyamalan is one of the worst directors in Hollywood. So I had no intentions of watching it. And then when I heard the reviews, I knew I made the right decision. So hearing Netflix was going to do a live action adaptation, I had mixed feelings because I knew that the last time they tried to do it in live action did not go well. But I also trust Netflix a little bit to create some of these things because they have done good work in general. So here I was excited for it. And then when I saw the trailer, was excited for it. And then I watched it. And they made conscious efforts to make some changes because I agree with when you do a remake of something, you need to change some things so that it is fresh and new. You need to approach it from angles that, like if you did it just shot for shot from the cartoon, then there would be little intrigue. There'd be little reason to tune in because I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just watching to see what I know happened in real life. Whereas when you make some changes and some tweaks and you show things from different angles, you expand on different stories. That's great. That gives me something to watch that I did not see the first time watching it. So that I was fine with. What I did not like was the decisions that were made when deciding to do that. The stories they decided to leave out and the stories they decided to tell. I'm not going to get into detail. I did not like the combination of Jet, the mechanic, and Omashu into one story. Like, I'm not going to get into every little nuance that I didn't care for, but that was a big thing for me. I didn't like the portrayal of Boomy. I liked I liked the first episode, the first scenes, where you started from like pre-war. So you showed when Sozin was making the decision to attack. So I did like that. But you spent a lot of time on that, and that means you had to cut out time from other things that were important. There were full episodes in the first season that did not need to be shown, right? Like I went through rewatching it. I was like, oh, they could cut this all the way out. Like the episode where they were crossing the canyon, could cut that all the way out. There were a lot of things that could have been cut out because they were just fun episodes of a children's show that were just fluff and, were good at the time, but didn't need to be in a 10 or 8 episode, whatever, live action adaptation. The problem was they cut out some of the stuff that needed to be in there, and they condensed some of the stuff that should not have been condensed because each of those stories had its importance. And I was not a fan, was not happy, did not like it. So I am going to hope that they take some of the feedback because I'm not the only person who said this. So to be clear, I hope that they're going to actually take stock of some of the feedback they're getting as they create book 2 and 3 and do a better job of making the show that some of us are actually tuning in to see. But I don't know. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But that being said, I want studios to, instead of doing live action adaptations of animated classics, do what Disney just did. Animate new episodes of animated classics. X-Men 97 is so far phenomenal. Great. Disney just picked up where the classic X-Men cartoon that a lot of us watched growing up on Saturday morning on Fox, and it ended. Disney picked it up the year after it ended. So X-Men took place in 96. So they started X-Men 97. And only 2 episodes have aired so far. But so far, with these 2 episodes, I'm all in. They expanded on the characters. They updated the animation. I'm not a huge fan of the animation style that they're using. But that aside, I also hate Magneto's costume. It was a version of the costume from the comics. I understand that. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I wish they would do away with it ASAP. But that aside, Magneto's costume and the animation style, which I'm not a huge fan of, I don't hate it. The story is great. They just said, hey, remember this show that y'all liked growing up? Rather than try to make an adult version, or let me take that back. Rather than take the position that for adults, we have to make it live action because cartoons are for children and adults like live action, let's just recognize that the adults who watched this as kids and are grown up now are probably going to also appreciate this if we just kept it going. And that made perfect sense to me. The show is great and I'm going to watch it. And you're able to do so much more in animation than you're able to do in live action. So it was a no-brainer. Just continue the show as is. So yeah, X-Men 97, first 2 episodes have been phenomenal. The writing is great. I love the storyline. I love where they're going. The first episode showed a lot of just a reintroduction to the X-Men, a reintroduction to the family. And then the second episode was, here's where we're going. We depowered Storm. They started off by showing Storm in the way that she was meant to be shown always, but the original cartoon never quite got it. Storm is an Omega level mutant of immense power, the most powerful X-Man of that team from the 96 show, but they never really captured that. And they did that in this first episode where they, like, I know for fans, I can't speak for everyone, but I know for fans, there was a scene in the show, not to spoil it, but if I spoil it, who cares? Where one of the Sentinels detected Storm off in the distance and called it an Omega level threat. And I know a lot of fanboys lost it when he said that because it was the first time that had been referenced in canon because it was never referenced in canon in the old show. And that's a designation that she's earned by being as powerful as she is. And then in one episode of showing how immensely strong she is, they nerfed her, which happened in the comics, by the way, but they took away her powers because it was like, yeah, it's kind of going to be a cheat code we're going to show how strong she is and or can be, but in order to make sure that there's a good legitimate conflict throughout the show, we're going to have to depower her for a little while. And I like that. Like, you have set the stage for the rest of the season and it was done brilliantly. I cannot wait to keep watching. I will actually probably just be doing reviews of this show and a couple others. Like, I might devote entire podcast to this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I might just come in here and get in on all of my TV shows that are up and running because X-Men 97 deserves its own little segment. It was great. Good job. Well done. But yeah, I want the studios to get out of this concept of this notion that because we loved something as children when it was animated, that now in order for us to watch it again, because I get it, you are acknowledging that the fans of these things when they were popular are now adults. So in doing that, you think that in order to appeal to us, you have to make it live action. I'm here to tell you don't. You can just continue on with the animation. Like, I know that there's plans to make I've heard rumors of plans to make a live action Gargoyles. Don't. Please don't. If what you can do is make new episodes of the animated series. You have so much more flexibility to do things with animation than you do with live action, and you don't need to retell a story we've already seen. You can just expand on the existing lore. So rather than continue with this constant rehashing of old stories, just create something new. But keep it animated, because we don't mind that. We will watch animation. So that is my rant on that. There have been a couple other things that I'm going to get to eventually, because there's Star Wars Acolyte I want to talk about, and just all of the Star Wars stuff that's going on. But the trailer for that was dope. Oh, House of the Dragon, the green and the black trailer have dropped. If y'all haven't seen them yet, go watch them. My House of the Dragon recaps are coming back. They were only on Facebook, only in the comments, and because people have actually asked about them and said they're looking forward to them, I'm going to be doing videos. June 16th, House of the Dragon airs again. I will be dropping videos after the episodes, so look out for that. There's going to be brand new content from me when House of the Dragon starts to air, because y'all know we got 10 weeks of one of the best shows that has ever been on television, Game of Thrones, except for the last season. And House of the Dragon was phenomenal last year, so I cannot wait. But make sure you check out the trailer, the green trailer and the black trailer. Both are on YouTube right now. And binge watch the last season, because June 16th, we back. We are back. I'm prepping all of my content just for that. So, but yeah, I'm going to end it right here. I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. We don't got to go any further. I think I got to everything I wanted to get to. Make sure you are following on all social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. If you have any topics you want me to get to that I didn't get to, please DM me, hit me up, email me, shoot me a text message if you have my number. I will be sure to try to get your topics on the next episode or incorporate them into the Guys Unpacked podcast. And if you are not already doing so, follow the Guys Unpacked on all social media platforms. Shout to the homie Dre. We will be bringing you new episodes of the Guys Unpacked podcast alongside the Applying Logic podcast. And you know, like I told you before, we are outside all summer. My birthday weekend. Do not forget, Sekou Flex, Dollar Fett, the Spring Fling edition is going down at the Buena Vista Ballroom. And the next day at the Bullpen, the Holly Juve Committee is bringing you the Bonjour Brunch Creme de la Creme edition. So that's April 27th and 28th. All the rest of the stuff is going to be on my page at Logic Promotions on Instagram. So follow me on all social media platforms. Follow the pages, subscribe, like, share it, tell a friend, and get ready because we got a lot of great content coming out in the coming months. I cannot wait to bring it to you guys. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in, rocking with me, and continuing to follow me. And I appreciate you guys again. And with nothing else to say, I am out.